peak delivery season for FedEx?
So the peak season would revert to the Christmas holiday season. Peak season usually starts around late November, and it runs all the way to pretty much Christmas Eve.
What is the atmosphere like at the terminal during this peak season?
The terminal is a busy place during peak season. The volume almost doubles for the building. Lots of extra loaders, lots of extra trucks, and lots of extra drivers.
So you have extra trucks, extra drivers, extra loaders. It sounds like you have a lot of extra noise as well.
A lot of extra noise, yes, yes.
During this time period, because it's so busy, can it get overwhelming for a driver if he's just not ready for it?
Absolutely.
Can it get overwhelming for a driver if he is ready for it?
Typically, if a driver is ready for peak season, they'll be okay.
When you have these busy days during peak season, is it preferable for a driver to have a route that he is familiar with or one that is new to him?
Preferable with something they're familiar with.
Why so?
Just route knowledge. You want to know where all the deliveries are. The average vehicle will also see an increase in their volume for the day. So every day is a little bit busier. Route knowledge comes into play. Their areas do shrink during peak season because the volume is so heavy. So they wouldn't normally cover the same amount of mileage that they normally would outside of peak season.
So do the routes change a little bit during peak season?
Yes, they do.
While Tanner was with your company, did he stay on the same route the entire time?
No, not the entire time.
How often was his route changed?
I wouldn't say very often. There would be times to where we would have to rotate routes a little bit. Someone puts in for vacation. We also have flu season comes around, people get sick, so we would have to shuffle the routes around a little bit to make up for that absence.
But for the most part, would you agree that he stayed on the same route?
Yes.
You had mentioned about why it's important to have a route that people know during peak season. Is it important to have a route that you know during non-peak season?
It's comforting to know what you have in front of you every day when you come to work.
Oh, when Tanner was transferred to this other service provider, was he kept on the same route that you had him on?
I don't know.
Was he switched to the Paradise route?
Eventually, yes.
Jason, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the difference between an urban delivery route and a rural delivery route. Are they the same?
No, not necessarily. They have their differences for sure. Rural routes usually have less deliveries to make because they have more mileage to cover, whereas urban routes they have less mileage and more density within the route, so they would have more packages to deliver because they have less mileage to cover.
Well, Jason, do you believe that you should put a city driver on a rural route?
No, it wouldn't be advisable, but it does happen.
Why is it not advisable?
That's not what they're used to. There's big differences. You wouldn't want to take a rural driver that doesn't face rush hour traffic and things like that and then place them in, say, a route that's having issues with rush hour and school zones and all those.
And Jason, the last thing I want to talk to you about is your relationship with Tanner Horner.
Yes.
When Tanner was working for you, did you get to know him at all?
I did. I was there quite frequently, 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week. I made sure to touch base with everybody, get to know them, their personal lives. They are driving my vehicle, but it's labeled with another company's name, and it's full of other people's property. So I wanted to get to know the drivers for sure.
During the time that Tanner worked with you, did he talk to you about his life?
He did.
And based upon your interactions with Tanner, and again, without telling us what may have been said, did you get the feeling that he was struggling with things at home?
Financially, yes.
Did you know whether or not he had just become a new father?
I did know that, yes.
Now, you mentioned the financial difficulties. Did you try to help Tanner with his financial difficulties?
Yes, ma'am. I gave him a loan.
Do you remember how much of a loan you gave him?
I believe I gave him about $1,100 to help him with his family, his living situation. He had car troubles. I just wanted to help him. He needed help. He didn't have anyone else to go to. And he seemed like a good enough person.
Jason, do you remember a time in May of 2022 when Tanner had to take a leave of absence?
I do.
Do you recall how long he was gone?
He was gone for approximately 1 week.
And to your recollection, was that due to a medical issue?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor, quickly. All these, it sounds to me like, Jason, that, and just given your statements today, that you seem to get to know all your workers. Is that right?
Yes, sir, that's true.
And I get the vibe from you, just talking with you today, that you loan money to just about anyone if they need it. Am I right?
If they needed help, I was in a position to help, and I would do so.
Right. And I'm betting your employees appreciate that and value that in you as a boss, don't they?
They do.
Now, in this particular case, you only knew Tanner 5 or 6 months, right?
Yes, sir.
And during that time, with all the other drivers that are going on, how many other drivers do you have at that time?
At that time, I had close to 20 delivery routes.
All right. Each route has a driver, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
And then you probably have a couple of extra to help out.
I do.
And in that particular situation, the routes for all the drivers can change at different times, can't they?
It happens sometimes, yes.
It's not preferred, obviously, but it does happen.
It does happen.
And those drivers, they understand that that's part of working for you and getting paid, is that sometimes they might have to go on a little different route.
Yes, sir.
All right. And also, when they go on these different routes, you talked about peak season. Even during peak season, do you make accommodations to provide help or assistance? In other words, would you yourself actually go out and help one of your drivers deliver packages?
Yes, I was on the road just as much as the drivers would be.
So even during peak season, the drivers during that time, those that are behind, would you have the other ones who are maybe ahead go help them?
Yes, sir. During peak season, the holiday, Christmas season, we would set up buddy plans. So you would have a route, and the route closest to it would be their buddy. So sometimes I would have to ask the buddy to go help out another route, and otherwise I would be on the road myself.
Right. And during this time, this 5 or 6 months that you had Tanner to work with you, he was able to do all of that, wasn't he?
He was, sir.
He was able to manage the GPS and manage his route, wasn't he?
He was.
And was able to communicate with you when he needed help for additional help delivering packages?
He would have been able to communicate. I don't remember an instance where I would specifically have to go and help him, except for the one day when he had to leave early and go take care of a personal issue.
Right. But you didn't have any problem with him doing all the things that you needed him to do during that time that he worked for you?
I did not.
That's what